days, and I can't imagine there's a place where it's being talked about any more than in the state of California, where they have been dealing with this issue of illegal immigration for a long, long time. And we have with us on the show as someone who's running for the Senate in California, Carly Fiorina, and someone not just running for the Senate, but running for the Senate with my endorsement for this position. Carly, welcome to Bill Bennett's Morning American. Thanks for getting up early.
Oh, it is so great to be with you, Rick. Thank you so much. And Senator, I'm so proud and honored to receive your endorsement.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
Thank you.
Well,
no, I'm just really appreciative.
Well, thank you. And it's interesting because here's a race where, you've got three candidates on the Republican side running against Barbara Boxer. We should have the dun-dun-dun music here. But anyway, running against Barbara Boxer, it's hard to say the worst senator in the United States Senate, but let's put it this way. She's in the top five, if not the worst senator in the United States Senate. And we have three. One is Tom Campbell. Let me just summarize the race for folks, and then I'll let you make your comments, Carly. Tom Campbell, who served in Congress. I served in Congress with him. He is, to call him a moderate would be a generous term. This man is a one of the more liberal members of Congress, who then came back to California and ran for statewide office, got elected, and because of name recognition has been ahead in all of the early polls. And then Carly, who we'll discuss here in a second, and then third is a man named Chuck DeVore, who is running as sort of the outside conservative, sort of hardcore conservative in the race, and claiming that he is the only true conservative in the race. Yet, I've endorsed Carly Fiorina. Sarah Palin's endorsed Carly Fiorina. The Susan B. Anthony Fund, the pro-life folks have endorsed Carly Fiorina. And so, and yet you have a lot of the national talk show hosts saying, well, the only real conservative in this race, and some of the bloggers, is Chuck DeVore. Carly, is that true?
Well, no, it's not true. And, it's disappointing to me that some folks continue to say that when the evidence is so clearly against it. In addition to the wonderful endorsements you just mentioned, I've also received the National Right to Life endorsement. I have the California Pro-Life Council's endorsement. I have a 100% rating from the NRA. I mean, I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming.
So why are they doing this? Why is everybody sort of claiming? Go ahead.
Well, not everyone is. The reality is I am ahead in the polls. I'm ahead of Tom Campbell in the polls. Chuck DeVore is flatlining in the polls and has been for some time. Chuck DeVore can't possibly win, although he's a good conservative. But I think there are two things going on here. First, I am the only real outsider in this race. I've never run for public office before. I am a citizen. I am a citizen who's had enough, who's truly concerned, who has lived the American dream. I started as a secretary. Ultimately, I became the chief executive officer of Hewlett-Packard. I know what it is to work hard, but I also know the opportunities that this country affords us. And I'm concerned that my two granddaughters won't have the same opportunity that I have had. So I'm an outsider in the race who actually has created a job when we need people in Washington who know how that's done. I've actually met a payroll. I've managed billions of dollars worth of expenses. I've cut billions of dollars worth of expenses. And having worked with government in many occasions for many purposes, although I've never worked for government, I think I know what it takes, pardon me, to get government spending under control. But I think there's this stereotype, Rick, and I think the stereotype is a professional businesswoman must be pro-choice. Well, there are a lot of us out here who are proudly pro-life, who are proudly pro-gun, who have been fiscally conservative in our lives, not just in our language, and who are citizens who want to come to Washington for a period, not forever, not the 28 years Barbara Boxer has been there, and make a difference.
Is it? I think it is this perception that if you're a professional woman, you can't really be that conservative, that really sort of bothers me. I mean, I look at my own life. I mean, my mother was a professional woman. I mean, at a time when there weren't a whole lot. I mean, my mother's 91, and she was she had a. Throughout the course of my parents' life, my mother always made more money than my dad did. Now, I mean, that was very unusual in the 1950s, but that was the case. So I was raised, and they raised me with obviously conservative values, and as they continue to impart those pearls of wisdom on me even today, and yet the idea that because you're a professional woman, there's something in your DNA that you can't really be conservative, to me is insulting.
Well, I agree with you. I think it is insulting to, I think it's part of this stereotype also, if I may say. There was a group of professional women who became very politically active, when I was first starting out in my career, and most of that political activism was leftward leaning.
Yeah.
It's the same political activism that we see expressed in National Organization for Women. Mm-hmm. That is clearly a left-leaning Democratic organization, pro-choice organization. And so perhaps that's why people like Susan B. Anthony and the National Right to Life Council feel so strongly that we need to put women up who can win elections and who can stand tall for the conservative values that are important to us, because there are more of us out there than I guess some people think.